Hi there, this is Data and welcome to the Wrestling Time Post Show. For tonight, I will be reviewing both AEW Rampage and Friday Night Smackdown, the Go Home Show 2 Survivor Series. Now, normally, I do start with AEW Rampage, but because Smackdown just ended and Rampage was like 6 hours ago, I'm gonna start with Friday Night Smackdown. Okay, so as you guys remember, on Raw, Bianca Belair said that tonight she would reveal who her fifth person is. There was a lot of speculation surrounding who it was, and it turned out to be none other than Becky Lynch. So Becky Lynch is back, and she's the fifth person on Team Bianca. And of course, like there's a brawl that breaks out. I really like the fact that Becky and Rhea had a stare down, and then slowly Damage Control and their group walked away. So I'm really happy to see babyface Becky Lynch being booked under Triple H. I cannot wait to see how that goes. And I like that spot between Rhea and Becky. I did. And I honestly cannot wait for Survivor Series. I'm pretty excited for Survivor Series, actually. But kind of like a letdown, so to speak, the Raw segment, because it's like you're just telling us to wait to SmackDown. Like, give us a hint. But I get it. They didn't want to do it on Raw, so they did on SmackDown. But what do you guys think? Would it have been better if they just revealed this on Raw and then had like a segment with Becky here on SmackDown? Overall, I think it was a good way to start off SmackDown by revealing the fifth member. So we have the semifinal match for the SmackDown World Cup is Butch versus Santos Escobar. I'm not sure why Butch was even in this match, since he is being a part of the War Games match tomorrow. So, all right. So one of the things I like about this match, there was a moment where it was a slugfest between both men. Butch did two moonsaults to take out Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro. That tornado DDT to Escobar was cool. And during this match, like a video on the Titantron played, and you saw there was a brawl between KO, Drew McIntyre, and the Bloodline, and so the rest of the Brawling Brutes went to go help them. And this allowed Zelina Vega to cause a distraction, and thanks to Joaquin Wilde, who kicked Butch, and then Santos Escobar, who hit him with the Phantom Driver, Butch lost this match, and so Santos Escobar was victorious. And I'm honestly digging the way Triple H is booking Santos Escobar and the rest of Legado del Fantasma. I think he's doing a really good job. I think the run that Santos is having should have been with Andrade got on the main roster. Unfortunately, that did not happen. But good to see that Santos Escobar is doing really good on the main roster. Okay, so then we get a Bray Wyatt promo. And he's basically talking about how he's been looked at like a rabid animal his entire life. And people just want to see the monster, the fiend, and that's it. He says it's not the man he wants to be anymore. And he gets like booed for that. And that's very hard to explain the burdens he had to go through. And violence is the only language he has shown. And he isn't the one who attacked LA Knight. And then Uncle Howdy appears, and they show like all this, like this video vignette of past Bray Wyatt stuff. And it says the world is built on lies. Everyone lies. So it was very interesting vignette, I have to say. And the fact that Bray says that he did not attack LA Knight, then who did? Who attacked LA Knight? Let me know in the comments who you guys think attacked LA Knight. Was it Rikishi? Did he do it for The Rock? That's a joke as old as time, but very curious to see how this storyline plays out. But I mean, I'm enjoying these Bray Wyatt promos. I am. But eventually, slowly but surely, we have to get to a match. And it doesn't seem like a match is going to take place at Survivor Series. So maybe it'll take place at the next pay-per-view, if we have a pay-per-view in December. If not, probably at the Royal Rumble. But we slowly have to get Bray into a match. They can't delay Bray versus LA Knight forever. Eventually, we have to get there. So this leads into an LA Knight promo. And he's basically saying how Bray Wyatt is a pile of trash. He's a human trash bag that gets to vomit his lies to the world and not a single consequence. And that if he wasn't for that arm sling that he had on, the consequences would be severe. So we get Hit Row versus the Viking Raiders. And And this match was pretty much the Viking Raiders. Sarah Logan is now being referred as to Valhalla. And honestly, like, I didn't have a problem with this match. I'm happy the Viking Raiders look very dominant. They certainly deserve that. But I really hope they don't get pushed in the back burner anymore. I feel like the Viking Raiders have always been kind of pushed to the side in the tag team division. I feel like the tag team division has been the New Day, the Usos, RK Bro, the Street Profits, and the Viking Raiders were kind of just there. So I really hope that this leads to something. This amounts to hopefully a title shot somewhere down the road. I think the Viking Raiders certainly deserve at least an opportunity at the tag titles. And then after this, LA Knight has been attacked again backstage, but we still don't know who did it. So very interested to see who attacked LA Knight. So we get another semifinals match for the SmackDown World Cup. It is Ricochet versus Braun Strowman. And I kind of thought that this match was obvious. I thought Braun Strowman was going to win, but I was surprised to be wrong. So Braun gives an elbow to the chest to Ricochet. And as he's doing that, Gunther comes on. He stares at Braun Strowman. And then Vinci and Kaiser are also there, and they cause a distraction. This allows Ricochet to get a victory. And then Imperium attacks Strowman. Gunther hits Strowman with the boot. And then Ricochet is kind of making this split decision, like, do I help him? Do I not help him? And he decides to help him. And then Imperium ends up leaving, and Braun Strowman helps Ricochet up. So that was an interesting take. So that I kind of thought Strowman was going to win this, and I thought we were going to get Strowman versus Gunther. But now that Strowman is out and Santos Escobar won, I think it's going to be Santos Escobar versus Gunther. It's my take. So we get a very interesting Sami Zayn segment backstage. And Sami Zayn is about to enter the Bloodline locker room, and KO questions him. He says, so what's going to happen when Sami Zayn says something or does something that pisses off the Bloodline? And, like, you can see the doors open, and Jay's just, like, listening to this. And Kevin Owens says that if he were Sami Zayn, he would strike first. And he would turn on the Bloodline before the Bloodline turns on him. So Jay then comes out and questions where Sami was, that they could have used him earlier. And Sami says that he just got there. So then Jay begins to ask him if he's talked to anybody, and Sami says that he hasn't. So it's very interesting that Sami Zayn lied about talking to KO. Kind of makes me wonder why he's lying. I mean, is he finally going to turn on the Bloodline? Is the Bloodline going to turn on him? So many questions. So many questions. We'll probably get answered tomorrow at Survivor Series. Ronda and Shayna Baszler beat up Shotzi and Raquel Rodriguez before their match. And they target Raquel's arm. Ronda and then Shayna come out to the ring. And Shayna and Ronda say that there's not going to be a match tonight. Accidents happen, and sometimes they happen on purpose. And yet Shotzi still comes out. If you ask me, this was kind of dumb on her part. I don't know why she decided to come out. I mean, her match is tomorrow. I get it, though. I get what they were going for. But still, it's like, it's not smart. So we have Shotzi versus Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. It's pretty much a 2-on-1 handicap match. And in the midst of this match, Raquel Rodriguez, she manages to come down to the ring. She's grasping her arm. Shotzi tags her in, and Ronda goes after Raquel's injured arm. Ronda puts Raquel in the armbar, and she forces Shotzi to watch. So Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey win by submission. So not a smart move here. Not whatsoever. Then we go backstage, and Shotzi says Raquel's arm was broken before she got into the ring. And then now her elbow is dislocated. And Shotzi goes on to say that it isn't the first time she's been bullied, but it's the first time someone has stuck up for her, and that now it's personal. And that Shayna's going to have a front row seat to what she does to Ronda. I'm sorry, but I think Shotzi's losing. I don't think she stands a chance against Ronda Rousey at all. So the main event ends up being an advantage match. Sheamus and Drew McIntyre versus the Usos. The winner gets the advantage in the men's war game match. So I like this one spot where both teams, they stare at each other. They're like on the outside of the ring, and on one side is the Bloodline, and the other side is a team, Brawling Brutes, I guess you can call them. And they're just staring at each other. At one point, Sami Zayn, he's antagonizing someone. And Jay tells him to back off and that he's got it. And KO tells Sami, see? He's basically trying to open Sami Zayn's eyes here. So I really like the fact that at one point we get a Drew McIntyre staring at Solo Sikoa, because if it wasn't for Solo Sikoa, Drew McIntyre probably would have won at Clash at Castle. There is this other spot that I like where Sheamus does the 10 beats to the barrel to Jay, and then Sheamus and Drew attempt to do the 10 beats to the barrel to the Usos, but they counter. And like Solo Sikoa distracts the referee, and Sami Zayn pushes Sheamus. And so then Drew McIntyre takes everybody out. And here's the interesting part. Like, Sami Zayn grabs the title, and the tag title, and then KO tries to stop him. KO takes the title from Sami's hand, and then he tosses Sami Zayn into the ring with the title. And the ref sees it, so he ejects Sami Zayn. And so while the ref is too busy ejecting Sami Zayn, KO gives Jay the stunner, allowing Sheamus and Drew McIntyre to win. And as they're walking away, Jay's just staring at Sami Zayn. So now things are going to get interesting, because now the Team Brawling Brutes have the advantage over the Bloodline. There are so many stories that they can do with this. Like, does Jay accidentally cost the Bloodline the match because he doesn't trust Sami Zayn? Does Sami Zayn take credit for helping to win the match and Jay does all the work? Is the reason why the Bloodline loses because of Sami Zayn? He takes the pin? I honestly cannot wait for Survivor Series. I'm more excited about the men's Survivor Series match than anything else on the card, because of the story that's just being told. I cannot wait. But overall, decent episode of SmackDown. It's the go home show to Survivor Series. I really was not a huge fan of the whole Shotzi stuff, but honestly, aside from that, wasn't a bad episode. Just I really didn't like that. But aside from that, that concludes the SmackDown review. So now let's talk about AEW Rampage. AEW Rampage kicks off with the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championship match. It's FTR versus Step Fight. Wow, this match was incredible. Incredible it was. I would not have been mad if this was a main event. I could tell why this was the opener, but damn, impressive match. Honestly, that Spanish fly to Cash Wheeler by Darius Martin, impressive. That knee strike to Sunset Flip to Dax by Dante, impressive. Like, this match was a great match. But in the end, Top Flight did not win after FTR hit the big rig on Dante. And so after FTR won, the Guns, formerly the Gun Club, came out and congratulated FTR. So because the FTR was successful and they retained their ROH tag team titles, I think that it's going to be FTR versus the Guns at Final Battle for those ROH tag titles. So then we get a Chris Jericho in-ring promo. And he starts talking about how nothing was going to stop him, not even Claudio Castagnoli. And there's no doubt that he's the greatest ROH champion. So Claudio Castagnoli comes out. And he says he knows he can beat Jericho. And Jericho says that Claudio should be more focused on what's going on with the BCC. And Claudio then says he can't focus on anything since he lost the title, wants another shot at the title. Jericho, of course, being the heel, says he's not going to give him another shot. And I knew this was coming. And Jericho says that there is nothing Claudio has that he can offer. Menard interjects and says that there might be something Claudio can offer the JSS. He says that he thinks Claudio would make an excellent member of the Jericho Appreciation Society. Jericho says his nipples are hard. I don't know why he felt the need to say that, but he said it. Jericho says that he will give Claudio one more chance for the ROH title, but if he loses, Claudio will become a member of the JAS. So I'm not surprised we're getting Jericho versus Claudio 3. Like I said during my Dynamite review, we got Jericho versus Brian 3 times, so now it seems that we're going to get Jericho versus Claudio 3 times, and that ending to the main event kind of pretty much certified we were going to get Jericho versus Claudio 3 times. And I'm not surprised that they're offering Claudio to join JAS, as Jake Hager had previously approached Claudio about that, reminding him that they were a great tag team. And it seems like pretty much BCC might be fall apart or be done for after William Regal turned on Jon Moxley, so it only makes sense for Claudio to join JAS. Claudio says he's a great sports entertainer and he will make a great addition to JAS, but he knows he's an even better pro wrestler. I think to me that pretty much means that it's certified that Claudio Castelloni is going to join JAS. It makes no sense for Claudio to beat Jericho and have the storyline end like that. So I think it's pretty much a done deal that he's going to join JAS. So we get a quick Toni Storm interview, and she starts talking about how deep down she's proud of Hayter and always knew she could do it. She said, I figured they got to see how tough Hayter is, but they didn't get to see Hayter beat Toni Storm one-on-one as she needed Britt and Rebel. She says if Hayter can look herself in the mirror and be cool with that, that's cool. That's the difference between them, that she can never do that. Toni says that she never looked at the title as interim and that she held that title like it was official, because that's what the division needed. She broke her face losing that title and will break her face trying to get it back. We get Darby Allin versus Anthony Henry, which was not a bad match. Darby Allin victorious with the coffin drop. So Darby Allin and Anthony Henry have history. Apparently this is a 6 match between them, and Darby Allin is victorious in this one. Then we get Athena backstage interview, and she's pretty much questioning why she should apologize for what she did to Madison Rayne. And she makes it known that she wants to challenge Mercedes Martinez for that ROH women's title. And I know Mercedes Martinez recently returned from injury, so that's why we haven't seen her around. So I think it probably might be Athena versus Mercedes Martinez at Final Battle for that ROH women's title. Then we have Hikaru Shida versus Queen Aminata. This was kind of a quick match, honestly. Penelope Ford and the Bunny came out with the intention to distract Shida, so Aminata can take control immediately, but she did. But she failed to win this match. Hikaru Shida took control, and she ended up winning. It was an easy win for her, honestly. This match really didn't do anything for me. This was just there to have a women's match on Rampage, honestly, it seems to me. I guess they're trying to maybe do a storyline with Hikaru Shida and Penelope Ford and the Bunny, but I will see where that goes. We get the we're supposed to get the main event promo, but after that we get an FTR segment. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about the FTR segment first, but no, before that is the main event promo. So with the FTR segment, Dax pretty much says that 2022 has been a great year for them, and he's going to challenge Bryan Danielson on Dynamite. So then with the backstage main event promo, so it's interesting. Preston 10 Vance is not there. And the Butcher, the Blade says that 14, they can have 14, 26, 37s. They're there to kick ass. So this leads into the main event, which is the trios match, the Butcher and the Blade, and the Toro Blanco Rouge versus Dark Order. And this pretty much starts off being a 2-on-3 handicap match because Preston 10 Vance is nowhere to be found. And Silver takes out the Blade, and Evil Uno -1 come on to bring out 10. 10 and Rouge have that stare down. 10 flips up the crowd, and he turns on Dark Order. He attacks John Silver, rips the mask off Evil Uno, and this allows Rush and the Butcher and the Blade to be victorious. So to add insult to injury, 10 uses a discus lariat on Alex Reynolds, which was the move Brody Lee used to do. They put poor Alex Reynolds through a table, and as they're walking up the ramp, -1 asks for a hug from 10, but he instead takes off the mask and throws it to him. He stands next to Rouge, and they all lift up their arms, so signifying that 10 is officially aligned with Rouge. And I feel like this is the way his match with Andrade was supposed to go. I feel like 10 would have lost that match, and he would have been forced to join Andrade's group. But with this, he turned on Dark Order. And I honestly feel bad for Dark Order because they could have been a huge group, but they didn't do anything with them, honestly. I mean, they lost Allin 5 Angels, Stu Grayson, and then they lost Anna Jay. Their storyline with Hangman pretty much more about Hangman than it was about the Dark Order. Dark Order is done for, I guess, if you ask me. It's a shame, a real shame if you ask me. They grew on me towards the end, but what more can you say? But overall, I think this Rampage is pretty decent, honestly. I really didn't care for the women's match, unfortunately. Don't get me wrong, I like Hikaru Shida, but the women's match didn't do it for me. I felt like we could have done more with them than just do that. But I get why they did it, I guess. Especially if they're supposed to start a storyline with Penelope Ford and the Bunny and Hikaru Shida, then it makes sense. But if not, then it does not make sense and we could have done more. But with that being said, that concludes this review. I think both shows were decent. I don't think one was better than the other. At least that's what I think. I did not care for Shotzi match on SmackDown, and I didn't care for the Hikaru Shida match on Rampage, unfortunately. So I'd say it's a tie. Neither show was better than the other. But with that being said, you guys, thank you guys all so much for watching and for your continuous support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever I go live or release a new video. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for Survivor Series. Bye.